All right, so today we're jumping into a really big debate in the world of infrastructure, ESG. Is it this essential framework we need for a resilient future? Or is it just a costly headache? We're going to look at how environmental, social, and governance principles are changing the game for everything from our power grids to our hospitals. For a lot of people in charge, this is the question that keeps coming up. They look at ESG and all they see is more paperwork, another compliance burden that just adds cost and complexity to massive projects like roads, ports, and all that essential stuff. So yeah, a lot of people see it as this compliance trap, just a cost center that slows things down. But what if that perspective isn't just outdated? What if it's just plain wrong? What if instead of a trap, ESG is actually the key to survival? This is where the whole mindset flips. When you get strategic about it, ESG stops being a burden and it turns into this powerful shield, protecting these massive long-term investments against some very real and very expensive risks. And wow, when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. On one hand, you've got projects that are fragile, that are vulnerable to shocks, and that could end up as totally useless stranded assets. But on the other hand, projects built with ESG from day one, they're resilient, they have predictable income, and investors have way more confidence in them. And look, this isn't some abstract idea. It's happening right now. Back in 2022, the floods in Pakistan caused an estimated $30 billion in damage to infrastructure. That's the staggering price tag for ignoring climate resilience. Okay, so seeing disasters like that, the World Bank decided to run the numbers. They wanted to figure out the actual financial value of building that resilience in from the very start. And for every single dollar you invest, you get $4 back in avoided losses. The payoff is incredible. And this isn't some feel-good metric, folks. This is a hard financial calculation. Resilience literally pays for itself 4 times over. But hey, this shield isn't just for stopping floods or fires. It also protects you from getting bogged down in crippling lawsuits over things like land rights or environmental damage. And it puts up a guard against weak governance and corruption, the kind of stuff that can make a perfectly good project just collapse from the inside. So ESG isn't just about playing defense and preventing disasters, it's also about offense. It's about actively saving money and creating value in your day-to-day operations. The whole idea that it's just an expense, the data just blows that out of the water. Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, for starters, just smarter design. Things like better insulation in buildings can slash energy use by up to 30%. Then you've got the materials you use. By using recycled steel and concrete, projects have cut their material costs by 15%. And get this, using new tech to predict when things will break can cut maintenance costs by over 20%. It all adds up. And we're not talking about small potatoes here. This quote from our source author, Pearce, is a perfect example. He worked with over 2,000 hospitals in the US, and integrating ESG wasn't a cost. It directly cut their operating expenses by millions of dollars every single year. It's a real, bankable strategy. Okay, this next point might be the most important one of all, because in today's world, ESG is basically the key that unlocks the door to funding. We're talking about the trillions of dollars needed for major infrastructure. A huge part of this is the rise of these totally new financial tools, like green bonds. Ever heard of them? Basically, they're set up to raise money specifically for projects that help the environment. Think building a solar farm or a flood-proof water system. And let me tell you, the market for these things has just exploded. I mean, what was a tiny little niche market a decade ago is now worth over $2 trillion. That's a massive river of cash that only flows to projects that take ESG seriously. And it's not just the market. The big players, the World Banks and IFCs of the world, they've made ESG non-negotiable. It's a filter. If your project doesn't comply, you're just out, you're excluded. But if you're an ESG leader, you get better loan terms and faster approvals. It's that simple. So when you put it all together, the risk, the savings, the access to money, it leads to one unavoidable conclusion. ESG isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's pretty much the price of admission to even compete in the global economy. Seriously, think about it like this. Global supply chains are all trying to go green. So if your country's port or your airport or your power grid is lagging behind, well, those big multinational companies are just going to go somewhere else.
you risk getting completely bypassed and cut out of global trade.
At the end of the day, it's all about a massive shift in thinking. The old way, seeing ESG as a chore, a backward-looking checkbox, just another cost on the spreadsheet. The new way, seeing it as a forward-looking intelligent system, a tool that helps you see around corners and actually drives value. So you see, ESG has become so much more than just a reporting framework. It's literally the currency of competition and survival for any major project in the 21st century. Which really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? The debate's over. The question isn't if ESG matters anymore. The only real question now is, what are you building for? Are you building for resilience, or are you building something that's already obsolete?